Hi everyone. If you watched the Jewelry Making Fun Collab from yesterday, I showed you just the two necklaces that I made. And this particular necklace here, which I'm restringing, which I thought I'd do with you, I had at the end here 3 of these 10mm coconut jasper, and I didn't really like it. I thought they kind of overwhelmed the rest of the necklace. So I had this I had several strands, 12, 10, and 8mm, and I decided to go down to an 8mm, and I like that better. The coloring is a little different than the picture jasper, but I don't think I have any more 8mm picture jasper, which is what this one is and this one. So I'm okay with it. It kind of ties in with these two, but I just wasn't happy with the size. On top of that, I have little mint green round beads, and there was one missing. It was like down here somewhere next to one of these, and it just was not there. So I had to restring it for that anyway. I am able to use the same piece of the AccuFlex 49 strand copper beading wire that I was using. All I did was cut off this end, and I'm using the same wire guardian. I just needed one new crimp, because what I did is I took the whole necklace off and restrung. Now I could have taken both ends off to make it easier on myself, but I had to go down to about here anyway, so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to only waste one crimp. And because these are actually a little bit smaller than the 10mm, I'm hoping I have enough beading wire to still be able to do the whole necklace, that I didn't lose too much. So we'll see when we get that far. Now also, I had more of these. I had 4 more of them. I used 3 to make a bracelet this morning. This is the day after. This is a 6.5 inch bracelet, and it looks like this on. My wrist is 6.5 inch. Now I did bring in some spacer beads. These from Bead Box Bargains from, I don't remember when. Not that long ago, I don't think. Well, maybe December. I bought them in December, but they're really pretty. And I put them around either side of these are picture jasper beads that came with these ovals. And so yeah, so that is the bracelet that I strung to go with it. I used a different clasp. It's not the tiara cast one, and these came from Fire Mountain. They're antique copper plated pewter, 12mm round, and they have sort of a swirl design on them. So I thought at least it has texture like the other one did. So let me move this tray out of the way, and let's continue with our stringing. But that was my reasoning. Sometimes, you know, you just look at stuff after you make it and you don't like it, and figure out what to do with it. So I took all the 10mm off, which I need to put back in that bag before I lose them. And I'm using the 8mm instead. So let me put them back. And then I thought, after we restring this one, I have one more of these left, and I really don't want to put it back in my stash. And these I had bought at Fire Mountain, but they were on these strands called Organics. I don't know what big box store they might have been in before or something, but they're semi-precious beads, and they are, according to Fire Mountain, picture jasper, natural, round and open oval assorted package. There were 7 beads per strand, including the oval, and actually I think I mixed these two, might be picture jasper. Yeah, and I think these little ones in here were on those strands too. I'm not sure exactly about that, because I have some small ones already put out up here too. But we're going to use them and make a dangle to go on some chain after we restring this. And I have this container. This is from jewelrymaker.com from, I don't know, a long time ago. Yeah, probably 2015 or something. And I thought we just use maybe this Figaro chain. So I'll leave it in here for now. It's sort of a bronze coppery color. I guess it'll go alright. It's a little bit bright. I was maybe thinking, I don't know, I might change my mind about that and get more of an antique bronze color, but we'll see. So I just thought we'd make a simple chain dangle with this piece to use it up. And, you know, I don't know that I'll use the green beads. I think I will use some spacers. I just want to make some bead dangles hanging off this oval. Maybe one more. I don't know if I'll use this or some small beads in the center this time. So something a little different. Plus, I would like to make a couple pair of earrings to go with these sets. So let's get started. And let me just clean some things up and I'll be right back. Okay, so before we start restringing, I just want to mention these bars are directional. I don't know if you can see, they have a flat side and then the top curves down. So when you're stringing, you have to be really careful also that you get them in the right direction, you know, so you don't have some like flip-flopped over onto their sides or something, right? So I want to make sure before I crimp this time I have these little green ones everywhere they should be. I added one in, but we shall make sure we don't miss any. So that one is laying flat, and that's why I'm doing that on this bead board, so I can actually kind of make sure. Let's see, that one goes there. I do not have one here, so let's add one in and make sure they're laying flat. You can just do it on the on here, but the other thing is I need to make sure I'm in camera view, right? And this will help me do that. And I can just feel like they slant downward if you have them going the right direction. So do you ever do that? Do you take your pieces back apart and rework them a little bit? Or find you've missed a bead or something in your pattern? It's always best to check that before you crimp, the final crimp. But I was working at a disadvantage when I made this because we lost power here for 8 hours, and yeah, I missed that one. That was my bad for sure. Anyway, so I'm gonna not bore you with restringing. That's basically all I'm doing, is making sure these are in the right position, that I have a green on either side of the check glass beads before I put on one of these. And then when I get to the end and it's time to recrimp, I'll come back. Hi everyone. Well, I got to the end. I thought I'd have a little more wire left than this, but I only have about a ½ inch. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it. I may end up having to restring, but I'm going to give it a try. And if not, I'll be restringing. Now, if I do that, I will not get rid of the wire that I have here, because it's plenty to make, you know, maybe 2 bracelets or like a focal point for a necklace or 2. So I'm gonna try, and I did use wire guardians. No, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to restring the necklace. I'm not gonna bore you with that, because basically it just means I have to take all these beads off and put them back on a bigger piece of the AccuFlex wire, which, because this is about a, I don't know if I move it down a little bit, it's about a 20-inch necklace with the clasp, I will probably do 24 inches of beading wire. So I have 2 inches on either end. I just like having that much, even though it's a little extra, because I like to have enough to be able to hold on to it like this. So I'm going to take this off and restring, and I'll be back. Hey everybody, guess what? I made another design decision, which I think will give me enough wire without using. I'm going to remove these 2 beads on each side. This is picture jasper, which will shorten this length. So I started to take this apart, and I still have to all the way to here. But I'm going to try that and see, and it'll shorten the necklace a little bit, but I'm okay with that. So let me do that and I'll see how it goes. I'll be back. Okay, so I have restrung it, and now with taking those, the one 8mm and one of the green beads out, the little green beads, the necklace will be shortened. It's 18 before the clasp, so 19 inch with the clasp roughly. I think I can get this clasp on, so let's go ahead and do that. So these are rose gold coated copper crimp beads. They were from jewelrymaker.com. I think I do have some copper crimps somewhere, I think from soft flax, but I'll save them for using with my soft flax wire. And these antique copper wire guardians are actually from Auntie's Beads, and I had gotten them in a pack of like, I don't know, 50 or 100 or something a while back, but I'm sure you can find those pretty much anywhere. Yeah, see, I have enough, I think, to be able to get through the crimp and maybe that green bead, which I like to do. So this is the toggle bar, and we're going to put it in the wire guardian, and I'm actually, well, let me see if I can get it through the crimp bead and that other bead first, and we'll see. I think I can, I think I can. There it goes. And I'm going to stop it. Oops, I got it through the crimp bead. I want it through that one bead there as well. And then we'll pull, try and get a hold of it, and pull it down a little bit. Alright, I think that's going to work. So we want to make sure we have movement, obviously, and we do. So I'm just going to hold that, and because the hole is big enough in this coconut jasper that that little tail will fit in there. And I'm going to use regular crimping pliers. Let's see if I can get you down closer. I know there's a lot of distraction on my table, sorry about that. So I'm going in the second spot for the crimp. I know it's important to make sure this isn't twisted over itself, but it's hard to do that when I have such a small tail. And I'm going to give it the pull test. You can hopefully see that there's the divot there. And now I don't want that toggle bar to keep coming down out of the wire guardians. I'm just going to squeeze this a little bit. You're not supposed to squeeze them very much. I am squeezing it just a little bit. And then I'm going to come back in here and put this in the first part of my pliers. I don't know if you can see that, and bend that divoted part, if you will, over. And then I'm not going to use a bead cap on this. I think I don't really need it. There we go. And let's make sure that tucked into that bead. There we go. So there it is, restrung. Let me move this out of the way and show you how it will lay. And I don't think taking that one bead out here made that much of a difference. So except for shortening it just a little bit, but I'm okay with that because actually 18 inch is my preferred length, so this is just a little longer. Another option would have been to put on a lobster clasp instead and then put an extender chain on, but I really don't want to do that. I think with the fan beads you don't really need to extend the necklace that way. Let me put it back up a little bit so you can see the whole thing, maybe. there we go. So there we are with the restrung, and then this was the other one, and now I have a bracelet that goes with it as well, and we're going to also make that chain dangle next and a pair of earrings. So I'll be back, and before we do that, yesterday when I finished that video I said I had some cleanup to do on this one, and I do. I can see where I haven't pushed these little tails of wire in because when I couldn't see yesterday because it was it was light, but it was overcast, and with no lights on in the house because of the power outage, I really could not see what I was doing. So I was cutting off ends and not pushing them down enough. Now you do have to be careful because you scratch the finish off the pearls, you know, the nacre or whatever it's called. Let's just double check some of these others. They look pretty good. This one needs to be fixed a bit. And I'm wearing, I forget what they're called, like magnifying lenses. They're not readers but they probably would do the same thing. I actually need a new pair because mine actually had battery compartments to have light come on also. But the thing is, the battery covers constantly fell off, and I hated that. Okay, that one's fixed. No, I'm not sure. No, that's pushed in. Alright, let's check the other side. I'm pretty picky about having tails sticking out because you don't want that to catch on somebody's clothing or skin and hurt them. And the other thing you can do, like there, that one, when I just touched it, it caught my skin a little bit. Just run your finger or your thumb down over the wire and see. Once in a while, if you use bead caps, you'll feel a roughness, and it's not the wire, it's a bead cap, but I don't have any of those on here, so I know it's going to be there. It's going to be the wire. If and I did use wire guardians here at these rings as well, and in fact, I don't really need to close them down. This one maybe a little bit, just so that loop doesn't keep going down below the wire guardian. And yeah, that's enough. I don't want to do that too much. Okay, so that is that necklace, and I do like that one. You see, I don't know if I could show you better yesterday, but these have these bumpy parts, but they're real shell. I forget what that's part of, but it's up near where the like the eye of the shell is, where the pearls actually come out of or something. That would be an oyster, right? Anyway, there we have it. And here's the necklace, or the bracelet to go with this one. So I'm going to get my things organized and come back, and we will make a pair of earrings or two to go with these pieces. I'll be right back. Okay, so I found this vintage bronze or brass small oval cable chain. It was from EE Beads, so they're long out of business. So anyway, it is about doubled in half, is about 12 inches. So that's 24 inches of chain. I'm going to make it about 22 inches of chain by cutting 2 inches off because I want to reserve some. We're going to make this necklace. It's just going to be a chain necklace. hooked onto, you know, this will be a pendant, and then with some bead dangles, and maybe I may want some chain for those. So let's find 2 inches roughly, which would be about here. And then we should have roughly 10.5, so that would be about 21 inches, I guess. I might have miscalculated. Anyway, so that is enough for a necklace. And with a clasp, we'll bring it up to 22, which I didn't get. Let me get a clasp and maybe some jump rings. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I think I'm ready. I hope. I have picked out a bunch of stuff. These are from a bead box, bargain bead box a few months ago. So I'm going to try and use those. They don't exactly match this chain because the chain is like a vintage bronze and these are an antique brass. But I really don't have many vintage bronze findings, so we're going to have to make do. This does match this vintage bronze wire. It's 22 gauge, so I'm gonna make a I'm gonna wire wrap this. I have these nylon jaw pliers, my good ones with the whitish, these work fine, but I have some that have the white plastic or nylon, whatever it is, in there, and that's way too much wire, I'm sure. So I just need enough to do a nice wire wrap, big enough bail kind of thing to go through the chain, and one on the other side also too. So I'm going to cut about 6 inches just to be safe. You don't need that much, I don't think. So now with that, let me bring in, I like to make a sharp 90-degree with the tip of my chain nose, and then I want this loop to be sort of big but not super big because this chain is kind of fine, so I kind of like it to be about the same size as that chain link. Well, you can't get your pliers in there all the way, but it'll be maybe down about not quite a 1/4 inch on my pliers. I'm not going to mark it because that's a normal spot for me to make a loop, and that is the loop. Now I have to decide, do I want something on either end of there, like one of these little beads like I have in the middle. Maybe we'll try it, we'll see if we like it. These are picture jasper 4mm rounds. I'm not gonna close that loop yet because I want to get it through the wire before I do, and I have to get these little beads. I'm going to put 3 little beads in. I'm not going to make this one have any green in it like the other necklace did. That was part of the challenge for the Jewelry Making Fun Collab, but this one I want to just be the tan with the chain. Because you don't always want extra color in your pieces. If you know, you sometimes want just a nice neutral to wear. And I found that this fits about 3 of these 4mm beads in here pretty well. If I can find the hole of that bead. There we go. And then through the bottom hole. So that's what's known as a bead frame, in case you're not familiar. Sort of like an abacus in there, right? And that one bead is a little lopsided, but it's okay. They don't, I mean, they almost fill the chain up, but not quite. Now I want my loop to be going in the same direction as that. Oh, let's put another little bead on the bottom so we even it out. And these are gemstone beads, so they are going to be, you know, different and lopsided once in a while. If you get really good quality ones, they should not be. Now this loop, I'm actually going to make it a tiny bit bigger because I need to be able to hook several either chain pieces or head pins for the bead dangles that are going to go under it. So that is like that. That's a little bigger. I'm not going to close that one either. Now let's find the center of our chain. And how I usually like to do this, let me get like an eye pin. Here's some. And I'm going to hold the chain, put this through the end loops up here at the end of each side, and hold it down like this. You know, normally I hold it up, and I'm trying to see if we have a distinct center. Looks like we actually have two pieces. I'm going to say that this one right here is the center, so that is where I'm going to put this through, right here. Whoops, I got it in the wrong one. There we go. Alright, and push that in all the way. Let me open that loop up just a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to close that loop, and then I'm going to hold that with my, I like to use my bent nose pliers. Bent chain nose pliers, I think is the proper name. And then also, you can use your fingers for this, but I prefer to take the tip, bring it around, because I like to make it a tighter wrap. If I was doing a messy wrap, I definitely would not do it that way. I see I'm coming down the wire a little bit crooked. Anyway, you should let go rather than holding on tight, because if you hold on tight and just keep looping, you're going to have your wire at the end here really twisted. I end up cutting off a bit anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. Another reason I like to make 3 loops. So when I do my my loops, I use the very tip of my chain nose, and you'll have to, every chain nose pliers is different, but these, if I put the very tip of these pliers next to my bead and do the 90 degree, it gives me just enough room, usually with 22 and 20 and 18 gauge wire anyway, to do 3 wraps. And then I'm not sure why, but those cutters I never can get in super close. I might have to get a new pair of cutters that is super close. But there is our link. Now I'm actually going to prefer that this side be the front, because I don't want that piece to show. Now I'm going to leave that like that for now. And I did find these toggle clasps in that bargain bead box set. I think this was from, I'm not, it's like, it is a few months ago, so maybe April or March perhaps, I don't know. And we're going to go ahead and put that on a while. Let's get out some of the jump rings that were in that kit as well. Now I usually would like to use ovals here, but since I have these, I'm going to use them. And we're just going to hook the jump ring on each side of the chain and onto the clasp. They're a little, also they're a little larger than what I would prefer to use. Let's see, I want it to be on this side. And that would be, if I'm, I don't know. I can, the nice thing is I'll be able to change it out if I so choose. On which side I put the toggle part or the bar, is what I'm trying to say. We're just wanting to make sure that's really closed tight, and it is not. I'm not happy with it. There it clicked, but it's still bouncing back. That's pretty good. Okay. And then let's find one that's not way open. Now, good jump rings, when you get them, would not have that opening already on it. I don't know if you can see that. These all are open and separated. So I don't know how these were made, but if they were saw cut, they should be pretty much close, so it would be almost impossible to see the opening, which is hard on me sometimes because I have trouble finding the opening. However, they're better quality because they've been done well. But you know, these were closeout items in the bargain bead box, I'm sure. And I still appreciate getting them because here I am using them. And as long as I make sure I get that closed, there, that is closed pretty good. I don't know if you can see. Okay. All right. So now that part is pretty much finished. I'm not going to put bead links or anything on the chain. I just want it to be a simple long necklace with some bead dangles. So let's make some bead dangles. I also found these, they're kind of one-sided, teensy sunflower antique brass vintage from Rings and Things, so that had to be a while ago. Yeah, 2014 I bought these, and I don't think I've ever used one. It's still stapled. Throw that out so I don't catch that on my finger yet. And I'm just going to put maybe one down with these beads here as a charm. So we need to make some dangles. So let's figure out what we want to do. We can have thought I brought some, oh, and I also have these free little beads that came from Bead Box Bargains as thank yous. They're all the same. I'm just going to rip one of these off. It's taped. And we'll use some of them. I probably could have used one of them in the middle here. That would have been cute. So let's do, I think I don't want to use any eye pins. I think I want to use head pins. Where'd I put those eye pins here? Just going to do straight dangles. I have these smaller head pins. They were from Bead Box Bargains not long ago, actually. And this drives me a little nuts, but they're off center, but I'm using them anyway. Going to use them anyway because they're here. But they're not centered on the bead really well. Oh well. So we'll do some, chain knows. We'll do some wrap loops. Again, I'm just putting that right at the tip of my plier, bending over. And I get my round nose, or if you have your all-in-one. And I want it to be just about that much, like for a little circle. These head pins are thick, which is good. They'll be sturdy, but they're really kind of hard to bend. Now that's not a very good loop. So what I do is take my chain nose and just pull that, because you want it to be so it looks like a lollipop. You see how much better that is now because I pulled that tight. Maybe if it focuses ever. There. Still needs a little work, huh? A little bit lopsided yet. So we'll pull that again. And let's see how it is now. I think it's alright. But when I wire wrap it, it should be okay. Anyway. Sorry, it's blurry. Don't know what to do about that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wire wrap all of these. And then I have to decide the order. And I might only do like 3 dangles. And put them on this. Because I don't want that part to be, it's already long with the oval. And this is moving on me because these are so thick. Alright, let me get my cutters and snip that extra tail off. And put that, I have a little spot in my bead tray over here. I'm putting all the scraps in, and then I will dump them in the trash later. If it was precious metal, I would not be dumping them in the trash. I have jars for sterling silver and argentium silver and things like that. So that's one. Then I think I want, well, we're going to have the sunflower. Maybe that is what can dangle from a little piece of chain. That would be cute. Let's go ahead and do that. That'll be the center. And I might have to find smaller jump rings because this is a dainty little sunflower. And it's clicking. Make sure it's closed. Okay. And then that's going to hang down pretty far. Maybe I only want 1 inch of chain here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't it? 7's a good number. We can use that bit for something else. So I cut it on the 8. That'll go here. And then I think instead of a big one, we'll do like maybe, I don't think that's gonna work. I think we'll use these 2 small ones and just have a brass thing in the middle. Like that. So when that's on here, it'll hang down about the same as that one. Or we could put it on like 3 lengths of chain. Maybe we'll do that. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll cut it on the 4th. And I wanted to do that now because what I'll do then is I'll hook the, before I wire up this, I'll put that through that piece of chain, and then I can just hook it, the other piece, onto the loop at the bottom of that. Bead. So here we go again. I wish this would not be so blurry for you. There. And just bring it around a little further. Okay. And then piece of chain. To make sure I get one of the ends in. Open this up a little bit so it can go through. And then alrighty. These are super heavy, super heavy head pins. They're very stiff. I think they're, it says antique brass, but I think they might be steel or something underneath instead of like copper or brass. Let me just bring that around. Alright, I don't have much to cut off, but I have a little bit. And always, always, always cover that, and always wear protective eyewear. Yeah, whether it's readers or just like I have on magnifiers. Alright, let's see how this looks, and then we can finish this up. So we're going to put this on first. Let me open this loop. It's kind of backwards for me here. There we go. We're going to open the loop. We're going to put this one on first. And then the sunflower, we'll have to see if that's going to hang right. and then this one, and then we'll close that up. And before I wrap it again, I'm gonna see if I like that. So it's this one, then this one. Yeah, I think that'll be cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and wire wrap this then. If I can get in here and hold everything. I'm gonna start with my fingers. This wire is a little softer. Let's see if I can get three loops. I don't know. That's pretty tight. Yeah, that's enough. Can't get 3 loops there, so I'm just going to cut it off where I'm at. And go in and tighten that up. It actually made like a bead cap on the bead, which I just squished down. Alright, we'll fix that later. So there we have our necklace. Just a little cute bead dangle with a sunflower on the bottom, using up the last of the ovals, and a toggle clasp. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that. I was thinking of maybe using these pearls. We didn't make the earrings. Never mind, we have earrings to go. So I'll put this aside. Alright, let's see. We have these bumpy beads that I pulled out from the freebie. I'm not going to use the chain on these. Now for these, I think I will use an eye pin or two. And these are not real big eye pins. But kind of what I'm thinking is we'll have this at the no, that's not going to work. Well, let me get a longer head pin, actually. A little bit longer. Let me hear these. Now, these are Fire Mountain. I think we're going to have these on the bottom, and we're going to just do around one of these spacers that I used in the bracelet, and one of those. See if I like that. Let's put the other one on. And I'm doing one of these is a little bit smaller than the other of these beads. These I think were the last of the beads from the pack that had the ovals, because these are not the coconut jasper, these are picture jasper. And then do I want them hanging from, I think I want some more little picture jaspers. So we could do 3 of those on an eye pin, or we could just do these. Let's put these on the eye pin and see if we'll like that. Oops. And I might switch out one of those beads for one of these beads, actually. Some of them are more grayish than tan than the other ones. And this has sort of 2 gray next to each other, so I kind of want to put one. Now that one will have 2 gray. Let me see if I can find another one that's more brown. I think this one, that one's too lopsided. Come here, little beads. I don't want to cut another here. Maybe this one will be alright. I think. There. It still has some gray next to it, doesn't it? Oh well. Alright, I think that would be alright. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. I'm not really sure I'm loving having 2 on there. Maybe just 1. In which case, I want to look at the size and the color. they're really pretty different. Now these two are better in color, but the size is, let me see if I can find another one. Or maybe these are coconut. Maybe that's why I think these are coconut jasper. No, they're not, because these are the coconut jasper. You know what? I'm going to save them because they don't match. And I'm going to bring in some coconut jasper, which is in the necklace too. The first necklace. And I think I like that one and that one maybe. Let's put these aside for now. Put them in here. So, those two. Yeah, I think those two. Alright, let's just try one of these. Like that. I feel like something else has to be on the other side of that. I'm not loving those saucers. Maybe we can, I like them, I just don't like them on that earring. I think that'll be better. I like the shape of that better on here. These freebies from Beadbox Bargains. Yep, that's it. That's what we're doing. Okay, so now I'm going to make a wire wrap loop. Again, simple wire wrap. You could do an open loop if you want, but most of the time I prefer wire wrap, not always, because that adds length onto your item also, and you may not want that, right? You might not want to have the length. The nice thing about round beads is they're non-directional, meaning you can, when you look at it from any direction, you know it's going to look the same pretty much, except that with gemstone beads, you know, they're always different on each, all around them. Alright, so, sorry this is so long. I'll try and edit some of this out, but there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and hook this on, because sometimes when I wire wrap the top of these, it actually makes it harder to open that eye pin. Which is a good thing, but I want to be able to get that on there and close it nice and tight before I do this wire wrap. And you know what I forgot to bring over is ear wires. I'm not at my jewelry table, but let me finish these first, and we'll just do this one more, and then I'll go ahead and do the other one to match, and then I'll get some ear wires and come back and show you that too. Alright, so these head pins just fit, and I see that one bead has a dimple in it, but hey, they're natural jasper, so what are we gonna do, huh? I want this to have a natural look to it, and this head pin is just long enough. I normally prefer 2-inch eye pins and head pins, even if they're too long sometimes, because it gives me enough wire to wrap with to do wraps. And it's bending a little bit. There we go. I'm seeing I don't even need to cut that one at all, because it has enough to go around. Okay. Alright, so let me do the other one, and I'll get some ear wires, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have them wire wrapped, and now I found these ear wires from Beadbox Bargains, nickel free hooked earrings, I think antique brass finish. And when I pull these out, I always check them to make sure the loop is the same, the length from there to there is the same, because you don't want them to be different in your ears, right? And that they're sturdy enough and blah blah blah. And I knew, and see this one is a little bent, so I'm actually going to take these pliers and just kind of press them down to make them all on the same plane, if you will. I'll do that. It's still a little bit, I think that's okay. And this one seems to be better. a little bit off. Anyway, I do that, and then we're just going to open this loop like you would a jump ring. Pull toward you or away from you, whichever you prefer. Just don't pull it out like this. And then you need to wiggle it to make sure it's closed. These are just plain hoop ear wires. These would be really easy to make yourself if you had wire like this. Although this is soft wire, I do not recommend that for ear wires. I recommend your medium hard wire, like a German wire, or in precious metals. What do they call it? It's half hard in precious metals. So those are the earrings. So now I think we're gonna call that it. I hope you enjoyed watching the how to fix the necklace kind of thing, the making of this, using up the last bit of that, and some earrings to match. I may still make a pearl earring or two or something. I don't know yet. Maybe not. I'm kind of running out of time today. I have other things I have to do. So anyway, that's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace, and thanks for watching.